at the SJC Boxing Gym here in Fort Myers. It's the 9th annual open house for the SJC Boxing Gym. And of course, at this time, during this ceremony, for the first time, we will be revealing the names of those who will be inducted this June into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2019. The event this year will be held June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at the West Shore Grand Hotel in Tampa. Our first order of business, though, right now, I want to introduce you to the host of our event, as he has been for the last several years. He is the founder of the SJC Boxing Gym. He's been a trainer, matchmaker, promoter, author, commentator, and just about everything else, even ring announcer once, right, Steve? Yeah. He does clean up, I know. He was inducted himself in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in the very first class in the year 2009, and he currently serves as well as the vice president of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Please welcome your host, Mr. Steve Canton.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you everybody for coming a long way. Some came from far away, some from close, but we're all here together as family. And it's especially great for me to see old friends that I haven't seen in many years, along with people that I see on a regular basis. And it's what I love about our get-togethers. Make sure that you put on your calendar all of the Hall of Fame events that are there, especially in June coming up in Tampa. That's a 3-day extension of today, with more people, and we really love it. We love having you here. I want to just say, first of all, in March, SJC Boxing will be celebrating a 30 years anniversary in Fort Myers. 30 years in March. We are going to have a party and a get-together to put the notice out for anyone welcome to come back and help celebrate 30 years. In that time frame, there have been a few people from day one that are still with us. Oscar Montilla, who was inducted in the Hall of Fame, started as a 14-year-old. He still helps out. And you got people like Freeman Barr way back is here. I want to bring up 3 recent guys, though, to the front for a second. I want to bring up Josh, Ricky, and Justin. Come on up here. Very briefly, I want to talk about these 3 guys because, first of all, inspiration. You talk about Josh. Josh started a year ago, weighed 256 pounds. He made a determined effort to get in shape, lose weight, learn how to box, and better himself. A week ago, he said his goal was to arrive today on Saturday, his 1-year time frame in Fort Myers training here, in conjunction with our celebration today. He wanted to be able to lose 100 pounds. He can say that he did it. He's 156 pounds today, 256 1 year ago before training in Fort Myers. Josh, thank you. Josh, another story here, a couple of years back, started, he did a little commercial, you might have seen it on the Facebook page, but Josh was having fun. He said in a couple of months, he tried all the major weight loss programs in the area, and in 2 months' time, he lost over $200. He came to Fort Myers Gym, right here, and in 2 weeks lost 20 pounds, and overall, in 1 year, lost 78 pounds. And by the way, also thank you, Justin. He donated the use of his sound equipment for today's event. And you can go see him perform on Tuesday nights downtown, where he plays guitar every week professionally. That's the only night he's not in the gym. So thank you. And Ricky came to the gym just 1 year ago. No concept of boxing, just wanted to better himself. Walked in the gym, looked around and said, his eyes lit up and he said, I like this place. Started training seriously. And after about 6 months, he comes up to me and he goes, I think I might try boxing actually in competition. So he works hard, and he ended up winning the state championship, Burt Sugar gold medal as a lightweight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Then he went on from there, and he won the national Burt Sugar featherweight championship. And when I went back and looked at the 4 fights that he actually had this year, he had a couple of wins by walkovers when people said, I ain't fighting that guy. But the 4 fights that he did fight to win a national title and a state title. The opposition record was 28 wins, 4 losses, with 20 wins by knockout. That's who he beat to be 4-0. Ricky, and he spends a lot of time cleaning up and helping the kids in the gym. I'd like to acknowledge these things. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Keep on punching, guys.
I'm going to turn the mic over now to Bob. I've said too much. I don't like to say as much, but I like to listen to Bob. The best ring announcer in all boxing.
Thank you, Steve. Those are just a few of the success stories that Southwest Florida has seen because of Steve and all of his trainers, everybody that's been part of the program. So it's a great staple to have the SJC here in Fort Myers. One of the traditions that we established a few years ago here at this event is to honor some of those that we've lost in the boxing world, especially in our own family, since we had the last Hall weekend back in 2017. Now these same folks will also be honored, in 2018. These folks will be honored this year in 2019 at our ceremony in June. But at this time we're going to read some of the names out, and Steve is going to take care of giving us a 10 count for those folks. So without further ado, in honor of the memories of boxer Levi Forte, promoter Phil Alessi, boxer James Scott, former world champion Elisha Obed from the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2011, former boxing participant and class of 2014 in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, Leo Thalassides, former promoter Charlie Pichette, longtime fighter, trainer, and builder of rings here in Southwest Florida, Billy Kress, and just recently, 2017 inductee, Villanello lost his wife after a long fight, Mrs. Villanello. We want to wish all those families and friends our thoughts and our prayers, and Steve Canton will now perform a final count of 10 in memory of those we lost. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be our 11th class going into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. This class, this Hall of Fame has grown by leaps and bounds, faster than probably any Hall of Fame in the United States, from most accounts and the folks that we've talked to. And we wouldn't have been able to have that kind of success unless we had great people at the helm running the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm going to introduce all the board members in just a moment, but right now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the president of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, who loves to speak in public, and he's got a great opportunity now, Mr. Butch Flansburgh. Put it up for him.
I just want to thank everybody for being here today. It's great to see all of our old friends and our new friends. And this is going to be a great year. We got some terrific people going into the hall. And I'm going to turn the mic back over to my buddy.
Short but sweet. Good job, Butch. We have an outstanding array of talent on the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame Board of Directors, and it's paid off with the events that we've done since we started in 2009. Once again, I'd like to recognize our Vice President, class of 2009, Steve Canton. Our CFO is the backbone of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. I don't care what she says. Without her, there is no Hall of Fame. Kathy Flansburgh. In charge of fundraising and sales, Florida Boxing Hall of Famer from the class of 2011, John Dodano. President of the International Boxing Organization, by the way, the IBO. And also in charge of fundraising and sales from the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2016, former great referee, still referee, still active? He is in MMA, Jorge Alonso. In charge of corporate governance and guidance, we have Dr. Mel Jurado. In charge of our medical advisor is from the class of 2009. I don't believe he's made it in yet, but Dr. Alan Fields. And also one of our longtime volunteers, event coordinator. He was a judge and a referee from the class of 2009, Mr. Brian Gary. Brian couldn't be with us due to a prior engagement today. And Director of Media Relations from the class of 2010, me. We have a number of folks that we want to recognize as guests here today from the boxing business. But the first person we want to address is the person that took care of our stomachs today, taking care of the food and the drinks, and being a great hostess as she always is, Mrs. Beth Canton. A few other guests we have here today in no particular order, and I hope that I got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. You can smack me in the ring later. Floor boxing timekeeper Rod Jurado is in the back. Rod. Former trainer at the SJC Boxing Gym, longtime trainer with Steve, John LaMarca is here. We want to thank Mr. Miles Wilson, who was the chauffeur driver for a very special board member, or a member of the Hall of Fame that we'll introduce in a few moments. So thank you, Miles, for serving as a driver today. Very important. We also want to thank, let's see what else we have here. I'm trying to read my own writing sometimes. Boxer Aaron Cypress is here, going to turn pro next year, or later this year, I believe. Aaron? Give her away. Everybody know you're here. And Aaron is here with a longtime boxing promoter in South Florida, Benny Collins. We also have with us from the National Boxing Association, Mr. Orlando Fernandez is here with us today. One of the finest boxing photographers in the world, and she also happens to be the daughter of a gentleman you might have heard of. He was inducted in our Hall of Fame back in 2012. Daughter of Roberto Duran, Dalia Duran. We also have with us today an advisory board member of the Boxing Hall of Fame in Las Vegas since its inception in 2012. She's also been a longtime Florida Boxing Hall of Fame volunteer, award winner, and also serves at the inquiry desk at IBRO, the International Boxing Research Organization. Carol Meyer is with us today. A longtime sponsor of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. He's a professional referee, also been a longtime judge. Chris Young is here today. We have a professional fighter joining us all the way from Long Island. Mr. Cletus Selvin is with us today. Longtime trainer. He is also a member of the Florida State Boxing Commission. He serves as a commission member, our corner man. He works as an inspector. This guy's done just about everything in boxing. Trainer John Westerterp is with us today. At this time, I want to recognize the members that are here today who have been inducted in past years here at the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. We tell them every year that we can't continue to grow as a Hall of Fame unless the inductees participate in this event and, of course, in the induction weekend in June. And we have a number of folks that are here with us, and we're really thrilled to welcome all of them at this time. From the class of 2018, former boxer Johnny Torres. From the class of 2018, former Judge Don Ballas. Also from the class of 2018, former boxer Mark Lanton. From the class of 2017, a U.S. Army Olympic gold medalist, former SJC boxer here in Fort Myers, Oscar Montilla. From the class of 2016, television producer and the man who's made it possible for me to see half the world in a short time, Ira Glass. Former world middleweight champion and SJC boxer, Freeman the Natural Barr. From the class of 2014, boxing historian, writer, and president of IBRO, Mr. Don Cogswell. From the class of 2011, former boxer, trainer, and one of the best stand-up comedians you'll ever find in your life, the one and only Mr. Dwayne Simpson. Author, too. He's also written a fantastic book.
And you'll sign copies.
He will sign copies. He'll pay you to sign a few copies. Last but not least, our original class, 2009, we introduced Steve a couple times. We have a couple of other very special gentlemen that are here. First of all, we have the former heavyweight champion of the world, the one and only Pinklin Thomas, who's with us. And one guy everyone has stood in line to see today, for good reason, one of the greatest trainers in the history of the sport of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jimmy Williams.
Get it.
All right, at this time, and I just want to let you know that we have some of the inductees who are here. If they're able to, we're going to ask them when we introduce them to come up and just pose with Steve and Butch up here in front of the posters. And at the very end, when everybody's done being introduced, we're going to get this year's inductees up in a group. So please, when we're done, everybody keep where you are so we have room up here. We can bring all the inductees from this year up to pose with Butch. And then right after that, we're going to try, this is always the most fun of the entire event, we're going to try and do a group photo and get everybody up here that's in the Hall of Fame. It's always fun, and this is also being streamed live on Facebook, on Damon's site.
No, it's the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame.
Oh, it is on the Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. It is on live on the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. So thank you, Damon, for taking care of that. Appreciate that. All right, without further ado, we're going to start with our fighters going in this year's class. Our first inductee from Tallahassee, Jacksonville area. He turned pro in the 1990s, fought some of the biggest names in the history of the lightweight division. He won an upset split decision victory over undefeated Juan Diaz on March 8, 2008. He became the new undisputed, that's IBF, WBA, WBO, unified world lightweight champion. His final ring record stands at 37 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw, 26 knockouts. He's now a personal trainer in his hometown of Jacksonville. One and only Nate, the Galaxy Warrior Campbell. Nate unable to be with us today, but he has promised that he will be there in June and bringing a lot of his friends and family, so we're looking forward to welcoming them and his family in June. Also joining us today, a gentleman who was born in Kingston, Jamaica, moved to the U.S., turned pro in 1993, fought as a light heavyweight his entire career, knocked out his first 8 opponents, at one point 17-0 with 16 knockouts. He was a guy that always went on the road, never afraid to fight in another guy's hometown, but usually when he did, somehow he wound up getting the short end of the stick, and we know how that goes in the sport of boxing. He fought Roy Jones, he fought several title fights, Darius Mikulchevsky, just a very exciting fighter. He finally retired with a record of 30 wins, 14 losses, 28 of those 30 wins were by knockout. We want to welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, Richard the Destroyer Hall. There he is. Where the Butch went off.
This way. Follow.
Come on, Butch. You got an inductee here.
This way, this way.
One more.
All right.
Richard, anything you want to say to the folks while you're up here?
I'm coming back. Richard, say you're coming back. Make that
You don't have to say much. I'm so sorry, but I've never been a mic person. I talk a lot. But I just want to tell Steve and everybody who nominated me and everything is thank God and God bless. And I want to thank all my friends who I see here today. Mr. Johnny, Mr. Don, Steve Bradsky. He was my trainer, one of my trainers back in the days. Great guy. Thank y'all, and thank my wife and my family.
What about me? Did I train you too?
Oh man, I have my buddy over here, Nelson Lopez. We have fun. Yeah, we have fun. And I just want to tell you guys, thank y'all. And if anybody can get in touch with Marad Muhammad for me, please do. I didn't get a hold of the guy. Thank you very much.
All right, Richard, thank you very much, and congratulations. Our next inductee was born in Wayne, New Jersey. He began boxing as an amateur at the age of 17. His only amateur loss, incidentally, was to future heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. But he continued on in a great tradition, moving here to South Florida, to Miami Beach. He met the Dundee brothers, both, of course, in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. He was introduced to Boxing Hall of Famers Murray Gavey and Dwayne Simpson, who became his trainer. God help him. He fought a number of great fights on Miami Beach. He also fought former heavyweight champion of the world, John Tate. His final record, 19 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 16 of those 19 wins by knockout. And in 2012, he was inducted into the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. So this is his first rodeo. Now he's going in Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, former heavyweight contender, Lou Essa.
Lou,
You have to say
put your fist up,
thank
Lou.
you.
Thank you.
Lou, anything you want to say to anybody?
Good. I just want to say, I want to thank Dwayne Simpson for the lifelong trainer that he beat my butt every day, but he was a great guy. And my wife and my friends for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lou. Congratulations. Our next inductee was born in Nigeria. He fought all over the world in the amateurs, Germany, Egypt, Cuba, Canada, England, the list goes on and on and on. He settled in Miami and turned professional in 2001. He defeated such world-ranked fighters as Yuri Boy Campos. Daniel Edward fought a draw with Ozzy Duran for the IBF Continental African title. Fought a number of big names, fought a lot on television. You saw him all the time fighting on ESPN and other networks. Final record stands at 24 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 12 wins by way of knockout. He still lives in Miami, owns his own gym, Elite Fitness, where he continues to teach and inspire young fighters coming up in the sweet science. Please welcome former world contender Errol Maselli Albert.
Oh boy. Anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank my dad for introducing me to the sport of boxing. You know, coming from a poor home in Nigeria, not having food to eat, you know, training hard, try to survive, try to leave the country. You know, at the age of 12 or 13 years old, going to Germany, competing there as an amateur, and staying there amateur for about 20 years before deciding to turn pro, you know, going to the Olympics. I don't want to be grateful to the people of Florida for accepting me as their son, coming to all the fights. The fight is always sold out. So I'm grateful to everyone. I want to thank my girlfriend, Dasha, Terry, Big Chief. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and thank you guys, and we are going to be there for the main ceremony. Thank you all.
Earl.
All right, thank you, Errol Maselli. Congratulations. Before our next inductee, I just want to say I saw him sneaking in the back just a moment ago. We want to welcome a gentleman came all the way from Miami to be with us on the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame board as our medical advisor in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame original class of 2009. Longtime, world-respected ringside physician, one and only Dr. Alan Fields with us today. Doc? All right. Our next boxer to be inducted, born in Miami, had a great professional career, turned professional back in 1991, and a mere 4 years later, in August of '95, fought at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas against undefeated Miguel Angel Gonzalez for the WBC World Lightweight title. Outboxed and outfought the champion throughout 12 rounds, only to be denied with a very unpopular majority decision. 8 months later, he dropped another close, controversial decision to Jean-Baptiste Mendy for the WBC lightweight title. He was considered uncrowned champ for many years. He finished up in boxing with a record of 26 wins, 4 losses, with 29 wins by way of knockout. Former world lightweight challenger, please welcome Lamar Murphy.
I don't got too much to say. I just want to say thanks for everybody coming out. And thanks for the people who voted me in. And I'd like to say thanks to my trainer, Patrick Burns. I just say thanks to my trainer, Benny Collins. And that's all I can say. I'm a quiet man, so I do my talking in the ring, so that's it.
Don't worry, Lamar, we'll get you to do more talking in June, okay? Be ready for that. Our next inductee, born in Puerto Rico, moved to Miami, Florida at the age of 3. Just a few short years later, you'd see him sparring with world champions like Wilfredo Gomez, Julian Solis, and Jorge Lujan. At the age of 16, he began his boxing career. You would see him frequently on ESPN, Telemundo, and Fox Sports. He even fought one of our inductees, Johnny Torres, back in the day. Also fought another one of our inductees, the late Hector Macho Camacho. In 2006, he was awarded Best Local Boxer by the Miami News. He's still involved as a trainer these days in Miami. And we are very pleased to welcome with a final record of 37 wins, 5 losses, 4 draws, 16 wins by way of knockout, former world contender Juan Arroyo. I don't think Juan is here with us today, but I'm sure he will be with us in June. Our next inductee, very popular and exciting bantamweight from Miami, Florida. He was promoted by Tutu Zabala, one of our inductees from a previous class, also worked with our Florida Boxing Hall of Fame trainer, Dwayne Simpson. After he won his first 12 bouts, he fought Daryl Thigpen, but rebounded and fought the great Orlando Gonzalez for the IBF Bantamweight Championship of the World in San Antonio, Texas. He retired with a fine record of 21 wins, 3 losses, with 16 wins by way of knockout. After his own boxing career, he became a very respected trainer at Tropical Park in Miami. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, Jimmy Navarro. Our next inductee, best known for being a top contender in the WBA in the light heavyweight division while he was incarcerated at Rahway State Prison in New Jersey. He's originally from Newark, but he spent many of his years in Miami being trained on Miami Beach. He, while in prison, beat the former #1 contender and later light heavyweight champion of the world, Mustafa Muhammad. He won several bouts that were telecast on HBO, CBS, and NBC Sports. He was eventually released from prison and passed away in 2005 at the age of 58. In 2012, he was inducted into the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame, and his final record stood at 19 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019 former light heavyweight world contender James Scott. Moving on to our trainer category, young man that was born in Youngstown, Ohio, but would move to St. Petersburg, Florida, working with his brother Dan Birmingham for many, many years. Joined him as becoming an excellent, well-respected cornerman, one of the better cut men in the business, by the way. And of course, his brother inducted in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in 2010. He would work with hundreds of trainers, hundreds of fighters, including world champions Winky Wright and Jeff Lacey over a 25-year career. He died unexpectedly in his Sunset Beach apartment on August 23rd of 29 at the young age of 49. He was also given a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame back in 2010. The Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019 trainer, cutman Mike Birmingham. Our next inductee is a trainer who divides his time between Long Island, New York and West Palm Beach. He's operated boxing gyms most of his adult life, helping numerous young men deal with issues related to adolescence. He's been the president of the New York City USA Boxing for the metropolitan area for 10 years. He was inducted into the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame last year in 2018. The Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019 trainer Pete Brodsky.
I would just like to say, #1, I love Florida, and #2, I can't thank Florida Hall of Fame enough. And most importantly, I'd like to thank all the fighters I work with. I have one of them right here, right now, World Rank Cletus Selden, and my heart and soul is always with them. Thank you.
Congratulations, Pete.
Yeah, if I just please. Yeah, I did. They want to get a picture? Yeah. Pete, get a picture with you, please. Picture with your fellow.
Thank you.
Our next inductee is, as a promoter, gentleman came to South Florida in 1962, started out as a boxer, later turned to being a quality trainer, finally settling in as a promoter in 1996. Nelson's Promotions has worked with many world champions such as Yoel Casamayor, Ricky Quiles, Raymond Garbet, Mauricio Pastrana, Robert Daniels, and Kermit Cintron, among others. He has established a world-class training camp in Pahokee. He continues to promote here in Florida and also around the world. He's promoted several shows in Kazakhstan, and he also helped establish the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame Goodwill Tour, which took place in Kazakhstan in 2016, in which 7 inductees traveled to a show that was attended by over 20,000 people. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, promoter Nelson Lopez.
Well, give me the mic.
Let him run.
That's dangerous. It's an honor. It's so good to feel to be here with such a great family of boxing. I've been in boxing all my life, and I got friends everywhere here. Friends that I know all my life, and people that don't know me will know me too. Dr. Fields, from day one, has been with me. I can't thank you enough for all you've done for me in boxing. I appreciate that very much. Dalia, I love you. Higher Glass, Benny. Oh man over here, you called me last night. Hey Nelson, come here and see you. Anyways, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and to be part of this big family of boxing, which I'll be retiring to the day I die. I will not turn it down. I love boxing, I live boxing, I dream boxing. You know. Amen.
Right this way. Right this way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson. Moving to the media category. Our next inductee is the president and CEO of the National Boxing Association currently. He's also CEO and editor at Latin Box Sports, one of the biggest and best boxing websites that you'll find on the internet. Started his journalistic career in 1996. In 2001, he launched his media communications career with Latin Box at Madison Square Garden, covering Tito Trinidad against William Joppi. From then on, he's covered major fights with all the big promoters, Don King, Main Events, Top Rank, DeBella, Star Boxing, the list goes on and on. He's been a staple in the Tampa Bay area. You see him at ringside at just about every fight there is. And as I mentioned, in 2018, he became president and CEO of the NBA and is excited to continue sanctioning championship bouts all over the world. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, journalist Damon Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a blessing from the Lord. I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for this opportunity in my life. Wow, this is an amazing accomplishment in my career in boxing. I've seen and done it all in this sport. As I tell all my friends before I sit ringside or before I shoot a fight or what have you, it's time to punch in the clock. And when I say that, and I mean that, a lot comes behind that, because there's been ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. I could remember days in my single life going to a fight, smiling in the faces of my peers, and then homeless, going back to my car, posting my coverage in my car, homeless. I can remember days like that. And no matter what, you never stop punching, you never stop fighting. So I'm very, very blessed, and I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for all the Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm honored. Thank you.
Bob. Get in there with Bob. Get in there, Steve.
1, 2, 3.
Can I have a copy of that for an insect repellent?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't know where Dwayne was sitting, so
He's waiting, he's waiting. He's gonna catch a couple more of them.
I'm sure.
Our next inductee in the media category was born in Austin, Texas, and then settled in Oklahoma. He fought twice for the world title. He first bout in Scotland back in 1980. He suffered a cut and lost in a technical knockout, but on April 12, 1981, he took on champion Hilmer Kenty, dropped Kenty in the 8th round and won a unanimous decision to become lightweight champion of the world. After his retirement, he would join USA Network to be a color commentator on the very popular USA Tuesday Night Fights. He performed here in Florida on many, many occasions, countless shows. He was working as a color commentator here in the Sunshine State. He's continued on doing Tough Man shows on the FX channel. He won 70 wins by knockout as a boxer, 81 wins in all, and continues to appear on networks all around the world. He was inducted in the World Boxing Hall of Fame in 1992. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, Sean O'Grady. We have a matchmaker going into the Hall of Fame this year. Originally from Honduras, he's been living in South Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area for many, many years. Served in the U.S. Marine Corps, also boxed as a welterweight, 60 wins, 7 losses in the amateurs. Knee problems forced him to give up his career as a boxer, but becoming a world-class matchmaker, throughout the years, he's established himself as one of the best in the business. He's worked with promoters from all over the world, come here to Florida. 9 times out of 10, you go to a bout in South Florida, you're going to see him matchmaking that show. That's just how good he is. Also an excellent coach as well. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2019, matchmaker Chico Rivas. Our next gentleman, inductee, born in Hamburg, New York, served in the United States Marine Corps. He came down to the Fort Lauderdale area. He later would retire from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department in 2004 after 28 years of service to his community. His career as a coach and USA boxing official extended into the Florida Gold Coast Amateur Boxing Association, Florida Golden Gloves Association, and the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. He passed away on March 28th of 2016, but we are extremely proud and happy to welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019, Pete Balkunas. Our next inductee began his career as a boxing physician in his native Argentina in the early 1960s, came to Tampa in the early 1970s, and was immediately recruited to work as a ringside physician because of his experience. Early 90s, Florida Boxing Hall of Famer Phil Alessi began to promote regular Saturday shows, and he was a regular part of those shows. He served as a physician for several world title fights with champions such as Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver, Nate Campbell, Winky Wright, and many more. He served as a ringside physician all the way until his retirement in 2016. The Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019, ringside physician, Dr. Rodolfo Eichberg. Dr. Eichberg was unable to be with us today. He just had eye surgery and is recovering. He said he just didn't trust himself to drive down from Tampa, but he certainly will be with us in Tampa in June for the weekend. We're looking forward to that. Our next inductee, we have 2 referees being inducted this year. First gentleman born in Youngstown, Ohio. He became a well-respected boxing official in both the amateurs and the professionals. He also served as Assistant Executive Director of the Florida State Boxing Commission. He refereed 390 pro fights to date, including over 50 title fights. He's also refereed MMA from 2006 to 2013. Also back in Ohio, he worked as a timekeeper and inspector for professional boxing. Since moving to Florida, he served as Vice President and Head Official of the Florida Boxing Association for several years. Also won National Coaches Awards in 2002 and 2004, and was an alternate coach for the U.S. Olympic boxing team in both 2000 and 2004. Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019, Frank Gentile. Also being inducted this year, a gentleman who has worked with some of the best known names in boxing history, including Muhammad Ali, Glenn Hutchins, Leon Spinks, Vonzell Johnson, Floyd Mayweather, Henry Tillman. The list just goes on and on of the fighters he's been in the corner with. During the 1980s, Ring Magazine selected top 10 boxers from various weight classes to participate in the U.S. boxing tournament. Of the 12 titles won under contention, 9 were won from his stable of fighters. He came to Florida and has continued to remain active in training, managing, and promoting fighters. Legendary in the Sarasota area for putting on many shows during the mid-2000s, and continuing to put on shows here in Florida and looking to do elsewhere around the world. Please welcome to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2019, promoter and trainer, the one and only Henry Groom. Take your time, Henry. Take your time.
I first would like to thank God. I want to thank God on the basis that with my age and my time that I have here now and was left, I would see, and I have seen so many people that I want to share my thanks and appreciation with in terms of the Florida Boxing Commission, as well as individuals associated with the Hall of Fame that consider electing me to the Hall of Fame. In addition to that, I see standing to my left, Benton Thomas, who I had association with when he was a baby. He was a baby in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yeah, his beginning on his task to become heavyweight champion of the world, the best. I also want to say that it's a pleasure having an opportunity to have been in these years promoting, training, and dealing with all the boxing fans in Florida. I, without question, believe that this is the most luxurious territory that I have had the opportunity to promote in, get to know individuals, and be associated with so many fine people. I once again say thank you. I appreciate it to the bottom of my heart, and God bless. Thank
you. Pinklin, turn around, Pinklin.
Pink, turn around.
Right this way.
There you go, guys.
Henry.
We're going to have a picture of this year's class. We're going to get all the
Pink, we have two authors standing right up front here. Steve, of course, has written a great boxing book. And Pink, I guess, is now an author too. Is that right, Pink? Yeah, he's an author himself. And he just happened to have a copy of the book with him. Look at there. Back from the Edge of Hell, autobiography of two-time heavyweight champion of the world, Pinklin Thomas. You can find it it's on Amazon, Pink? Oh, he's busy with it. It's on Amazon. And Steve's book.
It's on Amazon. I also have copies here. Mark Lanton has two great books that I can personally say are great. And Dwayne on Amazon has got a great book.
And I think there's one on Jimmy Williams, right?
And I believe so, yeah. We got a lot of great books out there.
There you go. I'm from ballet dancers.
Dwayne's book is all pictures, so he can color. You know, he enjoys coloring. Next up, we have a gentleman who began his career as a referee trainee back in January of 1986. He became a full-time boxing referee 1 year later in '87. Over the next 3 decades, he would officiate over 400 professional bouts, including more than 46 world title bouts. Majority of his bouts here in Florida and also Mexico. He's worked for all the major organizations, including the IBO, IBF, WBO, WBC, and WBA. Florida Boxing Hall of Fame welcomes to the class of 2019, referee Telis Asamenios. And last, but certainly not least, we have a young lady going into the Hall of Fame this year. A resident of Temple Terrace, Florida for more than 25 years. She's been active in many state and local service organizations. In 2008, she was twice named as a finalist for Temple Terrace Citizen of the Year by the Temple Terrace Chamber of Commerce. In March of 2008, appointed by then Governor Christ to serve as the only woman on the 5-member statewide Florida State Boxing Commission. She later became the first woman in Florida history to serve as Florida Boxing Commission Chair. She was appointed by Governor Rick Scott in 2011 to head the Florida Office of Early Learning and served as the agency's statewide director for more than a year before returning to her private practice. She was also elected mayor of Temple Terrace 2016, is that correct? 2016, mayor of Temple Terrace. Ladies and gentlemen, she also serves very well on the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame Board of Directors for the last few years, and we're very lucky to have her. Going into the Hall of Fame, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2019, the one and only Dr. Mel Jurado.
Bob, she's willing to share rooms with you too.
Yeah, but Rod still throws a mean left hook, so I ain't getting involved back there.
We're not talking about that now. Well, I just want to say thank you. I'm humbled and blessed. I love this sport, and I admire every man and woman who's willing to climb between those ropes. It is it's special to me to have been adopted into this family and this fraternity of boxers, and I know it's already been said very eloquently by Steve earlier, but none of us would be here without the arduous work and tireless efforts of Coach and Kathy Flansburgh. So a very special thank you to them.
Right this way.
There you go.
About time they got somebody that's pretty up
Well, they had you a couple
I'm
years
hurt.
ago.
Yeah. This way. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mel. Congratulations. One of the other things that we do during the induction weekend in June is we honor a couple of folks that are deserving of lifetime, of their recognition of their lifetime achievements, hence the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Awards. Those will be given to the individuals during our gala dinner on Saturday night during the induction weekend. We have 2 winners of the awards this year. One gentleman has been one of the most respected and well-known referees in boxing for many years, started as boxing judge in the state of Florida, went to Pennsylvania, and began his career as a referee. He returned to Florida 7 years later, has been a referee here for more than a decade. He's worked more than 500 fights in total, and he's also been a longtime supporter of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. He and his lovely lady are there just about every year to be part of the celebration. One of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame 2019 Lifetime Achievement Awards goes to referee Emil Lombardi. Damon wanted to be with us today. He's recovering from an injury that he suffered, but he's well on the mend and will be with us to accept his award in June. Our second award winner was raised on the Big Cypress Reservation. He got his first taste of boxing when he fought as a member of the United States Army, both in the United States and Germany. He would return to Florida, where he was elected chairman of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. For many years as chairman, he led support for many promoters who would put on shows at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. He's partnered with Seminole Warriors Boxing for several years to bring world title fights and major networks to Hollywood. The second Florida Boxing Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award goes to former chairman of the Florida Seminole Tribe, Mitchell Cypress. I know Mitchell's looking forward to being with us in June to accept his award. So we want to thank everybody who came out today, whether you're with the Hall of Fame or a guest or a former inductee, everybody that's here. We're really thrilled that we had such a great turnout. We want to remind you once again the dates for this year: June 21st, 22nd, 23rd at the West Shore